You know, sometimes the biggest, most profound scientific questions don't start in a sterile lab. They start right at home, with the ones we love. Today, we're going to get into a story about love, about loss, and about a totally radical scientific quest that, well, it could change everything we think we know about aging.
This little guy here, this is Murphy. And that quote, it comes from his owner, Pat Schultz. She's talking about the incredible role Murphy played in the life of her husband, Bill. You see, Bill had Alzheimer's, and as the disease progressed, Murphy just became his shadow, his constant companion, his anchor.
Pat's journey, watching both her husband and her aging dog, led her to a project that's asking a pretty wild question. What if? What if the key to helping people like Bill, and honestly, all of us, live longer, healthier lives is sitting right there at our feet? And that question, it's the engine driving this massive scientific effort called the Dog Aging Project. And really, it's a whole new way of looking at one of humanity's oldest mysteries, the process of aging itself.
So, what is the Dog Aging Project? Well, this is not some small niche study. We're talking about a gigantic collaboration. You've got top scientists, veterinarians, and get this, over 50,000 dog owners, all working together to figure out how our best friends age.
So why dogs? Why are they the focus? Well, it turns out they're almost a perfect stand-in for us. I mean, think about it. They share our homes, our air, our water. They get the same awful age-related diseases we do, like cancer and dementia. And here's the kicker. They age way faster, which means scientists can study an entire lifespan in just a decade or so. It's a much, much better model than lab mice, where something like 90% of findings just don't work out in humans. Okay, and this is where it gets really, really fascinating. When scientists actually put the brains of dogs and humans side by side, the similarities were just uncanny. I mean, it's staggering. Yeah, the scale is different, of course, but the basic blueprint, it's the same. The fundamental architecture, the frontal lobe, the temporal lobe, the occipital lobe, it's all there, and it's all incredibly similar. Now look at this. This shows you the absolutely devastating physical toll of dementia. On one side, you have a healthy brain, full, dense. But a brain ravaged by dementia literally shrinks. It atrophies. The cavities in the middle get huge, as all that precious brain tissue just wastes away. When Anderson Cooper from 60 Minutes was reporting on this, he actually held a healthy brain and a diseased one. And that was his reaction. Oh, wow! You could just hear the shock in his voice. It's a physical, tangible difference you can literally feel in your hands.
But it goes even deeper than that. When you get out the microscope and look at the tissue, you find the exact same villain in both human and dog brains. These sticky things called beta amyloid plaques. They're the infamous hallmark of Alzheimer's. The disease isn't just similar in dogs and humans, it's practically identical on a cellular level. So with all this data from 50,000 dogs, the project is already uncovering some incredible insights. And one of the very first big findings, it boils down to this one single number, 6 times.
6 times? What does that mean? It means the data showed that dogs who weren't very active had a 6 times greater risk of developing dementia. That is a direct, powerful link between lifestyle and brain health. And the implications for our pets and for us are just profound.
So, that raises a huge question, right? If the problem is the same in both dogs and people, could the solution also be the same? This has led the researchers into a super exciting new phase, testing a potential anti-aging drug.
The drug is called rapamycin, and in lab studies with mice, the results have been just mind-blowing. It's been shown to slow the aging process and even increase their lifespan. Now, the billion-dollar question is, can it do the same thing for our dogs and maybe, just maybe, for us?
So to figure this out, they ran a pilot study. Meet a couple of the stars. On one side, you have 10-year-old Cubert. He got a placebo, a sugar pill. Then on the other, 13-year-old Monkey, who got the real deal, rapamycin. Both of them were already showing signs of what you might call doggy dementia. And the results? They were pretty incredible. After Monkey passed away, they examined his brain, and what they found was a huge reduction in inflammatory cells compared to the dogs who got the placebo. And since we know inflammation is a major driver of dementia, this was a clear, direct sign that the drug was actually protecting the brain. That's the reaction from Julie Marino, the molecular biologist who was analyzing the tissue. You can just feel it, right? It wasn't just another data point. For the people doing the work, it was this huge moment of real excitement.
The feeling that, oh my gosh, this could actually work.
And this isn't just some theoretical lab stuff anymore. A much, much bigger trial, with funding from the National Institutes of Health, is already happening. Private industry is jumping in big time too. There's a startup called Loyal that's raised over $250 million, and their goal is simple, but it's so powerful. Create a daily pill to give our dogs at least one more healthy year of life.
But you know, with all this cutting-edge science, all this venture capital, the story keeps coming back to where it began. It comes back to Pat and her best friend Murphy.
Pat's husband, Bill, passed away 2 years ago, and so now it's just her and Murphy. Murphy is actually part of that big rapamycin trial, and they're navigating this whole aging thing together, side by side.
Someone asked Pat about the similarities between taking care of her husband with Alzheimer's and now taking care of her aging dog. And that's what she said. It's such a powerful thought, isn't it? That beyond any pill or any treatment, the real foundation of health is just care and love. That's what worked for Bill, and it's what works for Murphy too.
Which brings us right back to this one final, huge question. This whole journey started because of the bond between a person and their dog. So as we get closer and closer to giving our best friends more healthy years, what profound lessons are we going to learn about giving those same precious years to ourselves?